what's good, man? We are back with another episode of the Real Rap Coalition podcast, man. Today we come to bring y'all the last episode of our Saw series crash course. We got Saw X today. Um, it's just me and let's introduce ourselves, man. My name's Showtime Slim. Who else in the building?
The final Billy, the penultimate Billy, if you will.
Billy X. That's not what penultimate means, but Billy X.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it does, but who knows? I don't use that word in casual conversation.
That shit means next to last, and I only know that because
Well, because I don't. Well, we'll get into it, but I don't think this is. You know what I'm saying?
oh, okay. Well, still, that's a contradiction because you said the final Billy.
Yeah, I know. I was correcting myself.
But yeah, I only know that because I used that word as wordplay. You know, I'm a rapper, and I said pin ultimate one time.
That sounds ass.
And it was fire, nigga. But anyways,
All right.
besides that, yeah, man, we got Saw X, man. Um, shit, John Kramer is back. Let's just go ahead and get to it, man.
Motherfuckers
Fuck
watch
it.
9 movies just to
Yeah,
not show up for Saw X, bro. Like,
I wasn't even gonna address that. I really
this
wasn't
shit
gonna
is
address that.
pathetic, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I can't say what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? Because like they gonna flag me for like promoting self harm, but like actually, you know what I'm saying? Go talk to your ancestors for a long period of time.
Hey, man. Salute to the panel members that was with us for 9 episodes, man. They couldn't make it here tonight, but we still gonna hold it down.
Yeah, Saw X, man. Uh, we go way back in time. This movie takes place between the events of Saw and Saw 2.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, John Kramer is not dead yet. Obviously, motherfucker is out here. He's got, horrendous brain cancer. He's getting seen in the hospital and whatnot. And they basically tell him that he's fucked. He only got a few months left, and he's tripped out because he, wants to live and shit, He done already pulled a rebar out his spleen and shit. He don't want that shit to happen, man. So, he's out here just kind of like trying to figure out what the fuck he can do. He's in a support group with a gang of other people with cancer. They talking about how they gonna fight that bitch and some more shit. You feel me? At one point, he's outside doing what he do, jigsaw shit in the park, and he sees a motherfucker from the support group, looking pretty healthy. And Buddy tells him that he went through this experimental treatment where, like, he had a surgery and like a mix of drugs and shit, and he's in complete remission from his previous stage 4. I think it was like pancreas cancer or something, some shit
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, so he gives him the link to that hoe, and John Kramer starts looking into that shit. He gets in contact with the folks where, like, actually it's a dude that made it, but his daughter be running this bitch, and she basically gets in contact with him and sets up an appointment where he got to go to. It was in Mexico, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he got to go to Mexico and like try to get this experimental treatment so he don't die and shit. So
Shout out to John, man. He said it's over with, cuz.
shout out that boy Luther, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? Been with us for at least 8 to 9 of these movies.
It was a fact.
But yeah, the motherfucker went out there and he goes through all of this rigmarole, getting picked up at the airport, shown around the Mexico scenery, and taken to this secure ass site where motherfuckers put him up in this villa, for lack of a better term. He out here trying to get uh like prepped for surgery and shit. He talked to her, she shows him the facility and everything. One thing I will say right now, because I did skip one thing, um the inspiration, as you can see behind us, the art for the poster, the thing that they've been marketing forever. The first trap happens within about 5 minutes into the movie. It doesn't start like the other Saw movies where like the trap is immediate. It takes a little bit to get to it. There's a motherfucker like stealing out like they shit, they ring, they wallet, they watch, out their drawer while they knock the fuck out in the hospital. So
Right.
that motherfucker wake up in a trap where he gotta like turn a dial, and it's gonna
That shit
break
gonna
his
stick his
fingers and shit.
under section his eyeballs too.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, if he don't do that bitch fast enough, it's a vacuum on his eyeballs and shit. And bitch ass little dude only makes it to 3 fingers. Like, he really might have got one of the easiest traps I'd have never seen, bro. Like, and he just didn't do it. Sucked the motherfucker eyeballs right out his face.
That shit was fire to me. I ain't gonna lie.
You're the eye guy.
I'm talking about the trap. I think the trap was fire.
Oh yeah, like I think that was a creative trap. I think I could have survived this trap though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like all I gotta do is turn a dial and it's gonna break my fingers. That shit's gonna suck. But like,
I
bro, compared to a lot
yeah,
of shit, like
well, your eyes not gonna be gone. That's what it
yeah,
is.
what
I
what
think
what are you saying?
that's the alternative. Like if you
Oh
don't, you're gonna lose your eyes.
yeah, well yeah, and I'm assuming he probably died, right? Like
I don't think so. Cause I don't. Well, maybe. Can that kill you?
I would assume so because I assume like you would probably like hemorrhage out through your eye sockets.
I don't know. And they kind of left that open. They didn't really show it.
Yeah,
But I'll say when I saw that trap, I think I kind of got a little bit of like high hope. I was like, okay, this shit might be, something.
what, the trap or the movie?
The movie,
Yo, shit gonna heal, Luther?
Luther, you had that happen to you before?
Boy, Luther, how you commenting with no eyeballs, bro? Like
He got his eyes sucked out of his fucking skull, bro.
that shit crazy. But yeah, like I think this was a very creative trap in
Wait,
my
wait,
opinion.
wait, 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 wait,
What?
wait.
What?
Oh, he's talking about the fingers.
Oh,
Cause I was
yeah.
finna say, nigga, how your eyes gonna heal? Like if you get them sucked
Well,
out?
I didn't. You're not like you're not, but like the wound will close is what I was
I
assuming.
think he talking about the fingers. Yeah, yeah, he talking about the
Yeah,
fingers. Okay.
yeah. That's. I guess that's our fault. That was kind of stupid. But yeah. Like I say, I think that was a pretty good creative trap. You know what I'm saying? I think that he gave a motherfucker like easy, an easy way out type shit. Not like easy, but like the instructions were clear and simple. All you have to do is turn a dial, literally. Like other motherfuckers they ain't had to dig in their eye and fucking put like press. Well, I guess that blade shit with that fat rapist guy like might have been pretty easy. All he had to do was press that bitch. But I'm saying like broken fingers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's he let you off light, my boy. Motherfuckers they had to cut their whole arm off.
Yeah.
But
Um.
but it was all fake. None of that shit was real. You know what I'm saying? It was all a thing in his mind. He catches John Kramer, catching him, and he puts that bitch back. And like scurries off like a motherfucker.
He told a
Uh,
nigga choice.
hell yeah, and he was right. That was definitely the better choice. Than what the fuck was gonna happen to him. But yes, flashback forward. Yeah, John Kramer's finna undergo this surgery and shit. He's met all the medical personnel, seen the facility. Even not the medical personnel. Gabriella, like her family helps. Like I guess like owns the villa. You know what I'm saying? You got Carlos. He be out there kicking a soccer ball, and his dad is the groundskeeper of the spot. You know what I'm saying, etc. Like he's feeling real good. I
You got
recently watched
Theo.
Equalizer 3, and like it had a very similar feeling of like a motherfucker is out of the country, where they supposed to be at, but motherfuckers are real friendly, and like he starts to feel like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be here. This is a good thing for me, you
Right.
know. And one thing I will say at this point, like they probably spent the first 30 minutes of this movie as just like a regular movie. You have that brief moment of the saw trap, but like it's just John Kramer plot exposition and it reads like an actual movie. It's a villain origin story almost. You know what I'm saying? Like and I really appreciate that, I think. Like I think
Well,
it's fire to actually finally get a story that is John Kramer instead of him just being kind of a side, piece to everything that's going on.
I agree, and I wouldn't really call it a villain origin story. I think it's
It's
just
not the
like,
origin, but like they're showing
yeah,
you like he's like he's still Jigsaw, but like he's a real reasonable cat. He's just
we're,
trying to
we're
get
actually seeing
his fucking
life.
cancer going, and motherfuckers owed him. You
Yeah, I
know.
think yeah, the story is actually following him for once. Like you said, like every other story he's been in it, but it hasn't been following him. It's been following whoever the fuck he got in the game.
Exactly.
So yeah, we get to
But
like his life type shit.
so he goes, he goes in for the surgery and whatnot, and they do that shit, and they do like a partially awake surgery. So he's moving his fingers, he's seeing motherfuckers work on his brain
I
up on
can't
a
tell,
TV screen.
before he actually got into the surgery, when he walked in, it was another nigga there.
Oh yeah, that motherfucker, like he had just had like some shit cut out his lymph node or something.
Yeah, it's the
Like
thyroid. He had
yeah,
thyroid.
yeah, that motherfucker, like so you know what I'm saying? He's getting to see a motherfucker who just got treated for that bitch, you know, and so yeah, like he wishes him good luck and some more shit. And John Kramer goes in, has his surgery, whatever, wakes up, and they, got his head bandaged. They got like a little a supply of medicine for him and shit. He goes ahead and wires the rest of the money, to the woman and her team, and like he goes out, buys a bottle of liquor, like draws up a nice little thing for Gabriella, because he really feels like it's the first day of the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? He's realizing that like there's a light at the end of this tunnel finally for the first
AKT,
time
yeah.
in forever.
And
Yeah.
also, whenever he was staying, because he was like there, with them, like in like you said,
Oh
Gabriella.
yeah, and he was out there fucking with Carlos and shit.
Yeah, but him and Gabriella kind of had like a little, I don't know if it was you say a bond, but it was kind of like a little thing too. And she was like, she kind of told that nigga too, like the doctor saved her life and shit.
Well,
So
like
it's
she
like,
didn't even just say her; she say her family and shit.
well, yeah, her family. And so I feel like that's part of the reason why, he was trying to buy her a bottle and send it to her. Like I
Well,
think
like yeah,
they had
like
like a little bond.
he had a camaraderie. Like I say, he's
Yeah.
out there, late at night before the surgery. Carlos out there just fucking with a bike. He beating on that bitch with a hammer because he done like
Hmm.
bent the rim on that hoe. And John goes and he like shows him how to fix that bitch, but he don't know no Spanish. So he asks the motherfucker what the Spanish word for pull is. He say holla. You know what I'm saying? And so he was just really like becoming connected with the locals type shit. That's a fact. Luther out here drawing statues in the park and shit. You know what I'm saying? I never really did understand, like I wish that kind of would have came through more, that a motherfucker, like, because he was drawing some shit with angles and like figuring out. I wish I would have known like what that was, you know? Like I don't know. I just feel like that might have been like an important, not important, but like
Well,
it would have been a good detail to,
yeah.
know.
I think you talking about when he was drawing his little pet.
Well, no, not when he was drawing like the rack thing. I'm talking about whenever he's
Okay.
posted up with the bottle, he done bought that gift card, and he's looking at them statues on the hill and shit, and he's drawing like shit with angles. He's measuring angles, trying to figure out what the fuck he's drawing type shit.
I thought he was trying to figure out. Well, I don't know if we're talking about the same boy, but I thought he was trying to figure out where the fuck to go because he didn't know where the
Maybe
place
okay. I
was.
mean, maybe yeah. That's. But I was, under the assumption that once he was there, like a motherfucker knew where he was type shit.
I don't think so because you know what they did. They did the shit where they basically threw him in the back of a van, even though it wasn't. They put him in the back of a van, but it was like,
Luther
oh,
was
Mr.
right. They
Kramer.
carteled the fuck out, buddy. Like.
Yeah, but they made it like it was they were being nice, but they was like, you can't, we got to keep it a secret from everybody. And I think they just brought him there. And I also think KTL, that's the reason why he woke up and he was in a whole nother place
Yeah, he was
because they
close to the
want him to know
hospital.
where the fuck he was at.
Yeah, she said she had like brought him close to the hospital in case some shit might happen to him. You
Shout
know.
out Dave Wave and Blaze podcast, man. Shout out Lights Out Television. You missed the first
Yeah,
trap
I'm about
already.
to say you missed the
Like,
trap,
come on.
bro. It was
You already
already a
said,
trap. Like,
yeah. Like you should have been here. You should have watched the movie.
but
Shout out Dave though, man.
yeah, this motherfucker. So like he get, he finds his way back to that bitch. He gets the guy, the taxi driver Diego, to drive him back to that hoe. and the door open. Like he don't know what the fuck is going on. He's walking through. That shit is abandoned. All the fucking medical equipment, is knocked over and gone and shit. He find it's a DVD in that hoe, and he pull that bitch up. It's a fucking basics of brain surgery DVD and shit. And he start to realize motherfuckers finessed him, man. They
Yeah,
put that bitch on while he was like half conscious, making it look like they was operating on his brain. He pulled a bandage off. It ain't no fucking surgery scar, none of that bandage.
AKT, they was like you said, they was playing that. I said the trap wasn't real. Yeah, but it was still a trap, bro. So pay your bills. What?
Yeah, about to say, what you think you dude trying to be a bad bitch or something? Like,
Nigga, one nigga's a
gotta be.
trick on here. What do you mean? Like, the fuck you talking about? So, um, like you said, they played the video while he was like in and out of consciousness, like doing
Mm-hmm.
surgery, quote unquote. And he looked at that bitch, and I think they said something. It was like, "Hey, man," he told the girl to go turn that shit around. Like he's not supposed to be looking at that. I guess. Like he
That
wasn't supposed to
shit
see none
funny
of
as
that.
a bitch.
Nigga put that
Motherfucker
shit
say,
in that
hey,
DVD.
don't look at that shit. Like,
He seen the same shit, bro. When they put it in the
mm-hmm.
DVD player, he got pissed. He
Hell
got
yeah. Like he threw that bottle on the ground. He done broke some shit. He's like, all right, y'all gonna do this to me? To me? Like,
that nigga John Kramer thought he was too good to get finesse, bro.
hey boy, like I mean, at that point he was still a young Jigsaw Slim. Like he's like, hey, I'm the one who be out here outsmarting folks. You got me
Yeah,
fucked up.
this was after Dr. Gordon, I guess
He was
before.
sick, Luther,
Doc-
man. Like he was.
that nigga was pissed, man. That shit's crazy. They finessed the fuck
He
out,
said,
dude.
no,
Hey,
like
hey, KTL. And before he the lady went away and shit, the doctor, he was like, thank you. He was like, I'm gonna send you the rest of the payment tomorrow morning.
yeah.
So that nigga paid for the full fucking
No, and
I don't
that's
know how
that's
much.
why I said that earlier. Yeah, he says, "Don't you worry, I'm gonna pay my debt." She was like, "Oh, thank you, such and such. Have a good life." Like
And they got the fuck
that
out of
bitch
there.
looked right at him and said, "Have a good life," knowing that she'd have left a fucking tumor in his face.
She
Like,
took Buddy money and got the fuck on. Like
bro, not just her and all her partners. They just set up a sting and they got a board. Well, I'm gonna get to it in a second, bro. But they doing this stuff, mad folks, bro, for differing large sums of money. Like,
these are
but
dying people too. Like
bro, I'm talking about like John Kramer on the board to say 250. It's a motherfucker on there to say they paying $453,000. Like,
yeah, what the fuck kind of cancer they got?
come on, bro.
Them
I,
niggas finna
I
die
I mean, I
tomorrow.
don't know, bro. I don't know how cancer like fully works, but like I don't think it can be too much that's worse than fucking brain cancer, bro. Like
Whoever that was is finna die the next day,
that's what
nigga.
I'm saying, bro. Like you out here flying out to Mexico,
And
you
they
know
died.
what I'm saying, and
Whoever it
just
was died.
fucking not getting shit. But yeah, so John Kramer, he puts in a call. He's trying to find some, like, locate some folks. You know what I'm saying? And he begins what the fuck he do. You
Hey,
know?
KTL, what
Yeah.
I would say, something I thought is like these are the first people we've ever seen in these movies, like that actually
Don't
try to
say it.
fuck with him, like
Don't you say
directly.
it.
I don't know what you was gonna say, but like
You was gonna say these are the first ones that really did some shit to deserve to be in a trap or something.
no, I was gonna
Oh,
say
okay.
they're the first ones that actually tried to like fuck with John Kramer like directly. Like niggas don't fuck with this nigga, but these niggas tried to fuck with
Well,
this nigga
that's
directly.
because like he was dead for 7 of the movies, Slim. Well, that's not true. Okay, because
Not
if we
really.
counting that, like
We do flashback.
that insurance guy fucked with him.
Nah, that insurance guy was nah. I can't count that.
Man, I don't know. He looked Buddy dead in his face and said, "We not paying for this shit. You can't do it
Yeah, but
yourself neither. Or we gonna
hey,
drop your coverage
but
and your
KTL,
coverage for your bitch." Like
you right. But he did the nigga before that even worse.
he
You
did, but
remember
I
the,
don't
the
think
other
it's a
guy?
contest.
Well, I'm just saying, like these motherfuckers like targeted John Kramer, like you bitch ass nigga. Like they thought he was a bitch.
You think they targeted him, or you think he just kind of like wandered into their web of deceit?
Both.
I guess so. But right,
Like
so
once he got there, like you a target. You a
big
target
bad
now.
piggy get back in his bag. You know what I'm saying? Diego out there driving folks around, showing them the monuments. A motherfucker getting his cab. He says where to in Spanish. That motherfucker says la infierno. Motherfucker say to hell. That motherfucker chloroforms him. That boy Diego wake up. He in a device. He got duct tape all over his hands, some shit in his arms, and scalpels at the end of the fucking the like duct tape hand deal, right?
bro.
So what?
I'm gonna be honest. I never understood why cab drivers. I used to drive for Lyft. I never understood why cab drivers, especially it's probably just in movies. I don't know if it's in real life. Why do they let people in their car and they don't look and see who's back there?
That was the hey Slim. I've been telling you that's how he gonna get your ass in a saw trap, bro. A
I be looking.
motherfucker get in the car and
I be
chloroform the
looking.
fuck out you.
I know everybody that get in my car,
Yeah, but like
and
a
I'm talking to
motherfucker.
them. I get the when they get in the car, I'm talking to them.
Oh, you one of them. I
I'm
hate
saying,
that
I'm
shit,
saying
boy.
what's
Let
up.
just
I'm saying
take
what's
me
up.
to where I'm going, bitch. Stop
No,
talking to
you gonna
me. Like
speak. No, you gonna speak,
that
KTL.
shit whack, bro. You
Fuck
out here
that,
trying to be friendly. That's why your ass had a 3.5-star lift rating, bro.
my nigga. How you gonna get in my car and not speak? How you gonna get in my car and not speak? I don't know.
Damn,
You
I
you
gotta
gonna
be
speak?
friends with you, taxi driver. Like
No, you don't. You don't. I don't want to be friends with you at all. Like I want to get you to where you got to go and you can get the fuck out. But you gonna speak?
shit, crazy, bro. I
That's how
don't
that,
know. You might be
bro. A
wilding.
nigga. All I'm saying is I'm gonna see everybody that get in my car. Like it's no way somebody getting behind me in my car and I don't know who it is. Diego don't even look.
I mean, hey, so look what happened to him, bro. Diego wake up. He in this fucked up predicament. He can see John Kramer through the glass. He out here trying to yell and shit. He finally used a scalpel. He realized he can use one of the scalpels to cut the ropes on that bitch. So he cut the ropes. It pulled a string, as like tends to be the case, and it like a fucking tape recorder falls down. He played that bitch, and it basically tells him like, "Hey, you did all of this shit. You helped finesse motherfuckers. So what I done wired some pipe bombs into your arms. It's like a cancer, if you will. You can't cut through the wires on that bitch. But what you can do is take these scalpels and cut through the muscles in the meat of your arms and shit. And
Yeah.
he says, all right, you got, like, I think it was like 3 minutes to cut through that bitch. And of course, in typical Saw fashion, Diego goes out there. He's getting angry. He's yelling. He's trying to bargain and plead. Then he goes, runs, tumbles down some fucking stairs for a little bit just to, have that little Three Stooges. Aha, he snooped on a banana peel. Like, dumbass shit. Uh,
Mm.
but then Diego finally starts getting active, man. Salute to him. That motherfucker just start tearing into his arms with these scalpels, boy. And he ended up digging both them bitches out. I ain't gonna lie to you. He digged the second one out. He
No,
kicked
it
that
didn't.
bitch up under a fucking thing, and then he fucking hides, like hits the deck. You
KJ,
know.
he didn't dig the second one out with the scalpel. He used his teeth. Like he bit it out.
Well, no, but he definitely cut that bitch for a while. He didn't just use his
He
teeth. Like he
did. That
might
bitch
have pulled that
wasn't gonna
last,
be able
like at
to
the
get that
end with
bitch
his
out.
teeth.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna be able to
But
get it out.
I
That's
mean,
what I
hey,
thought. I thought he wasn't gonna get it out.
by any means necessary. I feel like I done did
Yeah,
most of the work. Let me,
go ahead. Yeah, go
because
ahead.
there's some shit later. Motherfuckers like don't always they do what they supposed to do, and it don't always work. So shit, I'm gonna get out this trap by any means necessary, bitch. But yeah, so he kicks that bitch up under there. He good. He laying there sobbing and shit. John Kramer walk out with a big fucking box of medical supplies and shit. He tells Buddy, like, congratulations, you the one that bitch. Buddy don't try to stab him in his jugular, so like that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, so that's that trap, that happened. Then it goes to basically a montage of, John Kramer, Big Piggy, just snatching folks up again. He pull up that, one of the bitches is in a club talking to a motherfucker. And they go outside, he take her to his car. He trying to fuck on that hoe. That bitch asked for money. He told that bitch, you ain't say nothing about
That
no
bitch was
money.
a
That bitch say
prostitute.
no money, no fucking. And then he just try to, like, do that thing to that hoe.
He tried to take advantage of her.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like he in the back seat struggling, getting kicked in the face, trying to snatch that bitch drawers off, and then a fucking the window busts and knock him the fuck out. And that bit, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. Then that bitch thinks she's safe and she get drug out the fucking car. Boom.
It's no way she thought she was safe. Like a random nigga just bust the fuck
I
out the
mean,
windows,
Slim,
bitch.
she
You
was
ain't safe.
definitely safe from getting R worded. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, from that for sure. But
But
shit, you got more problems. A nigga just
shit,
bust out windows for a
I'm gonna be
reason.
honest though. Like, I think the trap might be the lesser of two evils. You know, but
Mm.
yeah. So a motherfucker, you got fucking Gabriella. You know, she's a fucking drug riddled prostitute. You know, pulling up on a motherfucker that is a veterinarian and shit. And he's out there giving her some prescription pills. He like the piggy runs up on him with a cattle prod and just shocks the fuck out him until he passes out. Catches that bitch hiding in the bathroom doing drugs and shit. She got like some mace and shit. Hits that bitch in the face with a dough and then just sprays her with a gang of mace, just for no reason other than fuck you, bitch. And and then Cecilia, right? Cecilia Peterson. That bitch is, at her big fucked up house where you can see into it laterally, bunch of glass walls, just horrible design.
Yeah,
She's
well,
out
okay.
there finessing folks again. Like I say, she got a board. She take John Kramer picture off and put somebody else up. Motherfuckers is up there for differing hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're offering her for this medical treatment. She just fleecing the fuck out people. And the piggy is, running amok through her house. She trying to see on the cameras. That motherfucker is on the roof, drops a box through that bitch, and like chases that bitch. She finally get down there to her car. She thinks she's safe. Motherfucker's in the back seat, just sting the fuck out her ass. And then you see the garage door open, and you see
It,
another
it
piggy.
was John Kramer, didn't
I'm
he? He
about to
took his
say, yeah,
mask off.
John Kramer was in the back. Then the other piggy is out in front of the car, and you see it's Amanda again.
Big
I ain't
bad
gonna
Amanda
lie,
back.
man. Shout out Amanda. Like she did pretty good. But that bitch got old, boy. Oh my god. I was looking at that. I was like, damn, this bitch got old. But
Shit, it's been years.
it's been 25 years. Yes, it's been
It's been
25
years.
years. Like,
It has not been 25 years. Where you got that from?
because that shit, like, it's come on, bro. It's the 25th anniversary. Like,
No, it ain't.
it's close enough. But yeah, it's been 25 years since we seen this bitch. And you know what I'm saying? She done got old, but like she's back now. She got like a choker and everything, like she in typical Amanda fashion. So motherfuckers wake up, they in like back in a little factory type joint, and they all chained up and shit. And John and Amanda, they down there just basically telling them like, hey, y'all did some fuck ass shit, not just to me, but to a bunch of folks. And now I'm not finna get back at y'all. This ain't revenge. This is a second chance for you to be a better person. So everybody out there begging, pleading, trying to get let go. He said, fuck all that. He tells the first bitch was Valentina. Shout
Valentina.
out Valentina
Valentina.
Tequila. But that bitch was out there, post. He say that haircut was ass. That shit's a fact, Luther, man. That haircut was horrible. But that's that bitch. Um, yeah. So the Valentina's in a joint where like she's kind of like held there, in a straight position. There's a joint in front of her that will go forward. It's a saw, a type of saw. It will go forward and cut her fucking head off unless she goes across the dotted line where it is marked on her leg with another like type of pull saw and shit and cuts her fucking leg off and then sticks a vacuum in there and sucks a gang of bone marrow out of her fucking femur and shit. So she's got this limited amount of time to do this shit, and she in the same fashion, oh, I'm not doing this, fuck you, I'm not cutting my leg off. And they out there trying to tell her like, hey bitch, you better do this shit or some bad shit gonna happen to you. So she finally starts getting after it. It took her a little bit to cut her leg off, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, it took her a little bit of time, but whole time this Peterson bitch in the background just being insufferable, just backseat driving. Oh, just do it, just shut the fuck up and do it, bitch. If you don't eat a dick, How about you do some shit? Sorry, bitch. Like
Couldn't.
that was the
It
point
wasn't
where
her
no,
trap.
I'm saying like bitch, I will watch when you get put in a trap, bitch. Watch what's gonna happen. Like
Yeah, Valentina was panicking and shit though.
I mean, she was, but like at a certain point, bro, she's cutting off her leg. Why the fuck won't you shut up and let her do it? Like, damn. But yeah, that so like she cuts her leg off finally. I think she had like a minute remaining or some shit. Takes the little vacuum thing and stabs that hoe into her femur, and it just like starts like pulling, the bone marrow out that hoe. And it doesn't happen fast enough, which I don't think was her fault. This is what I'm talking about. This trap
Um,
was kind of bullshit to me.
nah,
Cause that
nah.
bitch, like, yeah, she wasted time in the start.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's what
debating
it is.
that. But like if I have like a third of the allotted time, bro, you mean to tell me you can't just like pump this hoe out a little bit? Like I did, bro. I cut my fucking leg off, stabbed that bitch in there. What the fuck more do you want from me?
I'm gonna be honest, KTL. She do what everybody do. Like you got to get to it.
I
You can't wait
agree,
no time.
Slim, but like at a certain point, like I've won the game, bro. Like there's no other task that I have to do. This is a
It wasn't fast enough.
robotically assisted thing that I have to sit and wait for.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
wasn't
as if
fast
I
enough.
didn't do the shit.
She wasn't fast enough.
Man, I think that's whack, bro. Like I think that bitch won her game, and I think they hold the fuck. See what I'm saying, Luther? She missed that shit by 1 second, bro. That shit whack. Like
But you got hold on. But
a
y'all
lot
got
of
to
people
realize
miss traps by 1 second. I've seen it happen,
that's a
and I
fact. But
blamed them. But in this scenario, it's literally not
nah,
her fault. The
it,
machine was too
it's
slow, bro.
100% her fault.
No, the machine was too slow, bro. Like,
But KTL, like
why is
so
it taking
so
so long to pull this shit out my
I don't think
leg?
I don't think that's the issue because I did feel bad when she missed it because it's like, damn, this bitch was actually doing this shit. She's not like everybody else. She was doing this shit. She was sucking it up and she was doing it. The problem that I got here is that she just did what everybody else did and wasted time at the beginning. Let's just
I
say if she would have just not wasted 5 of those seconds that she wasted, she would have lived.
Bro, I'm literally like I'm in the theater watching this shit, and there's like a family next to me on like one side. They put their kids sitting right next to me and shit. A lot of people had their kids in the movie theater, man. I
Yeah,
guess
they
shout out to
they
y'all.
fine too.
But I like audibly when that shit happened, I said that might have been kind of bullshit, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like in the movie theater, I'm like, man, this is bullshit. But yeah, so like she don't make it. Saw just fucking cuts her head off and shit. And that's like the other thing, man. I don't like that like the fucking thing started. Like as soon as if you don't make it within the 3 minutes, the thing don't start moving. It just stops the suction and it's over with. Like that 1 second that like I was missing, that shit could have, gone on for another second while the saw is moving towards me in the same manner where that bitch with the fish hook in her stomach, that shit was just slowly moving towards her. Like I feel like it could have been that type of thing, bro. Like it would have stopped before it hit me. Then I would have been straight. I just think that's ass, man. But
Gotta have some urgency,
Valentina,
Valentina.
she lost her shit. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody's realizing how fucking real this shit is.
Hey,
Uh,
that
you know,
that nigga, Mateo, he
Mateo.
was like wilding the whole time though. He one of them annoying characters that they be putting in here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like they really all were in their own manner, but like I say, ain't nothing wasn't nothing worse than Cecilia in the backseat saw trapping to me. That was the worst shit, bro.
Cecilia,
But
so clearly they built Cecilia up like the boss bitch, like yeah, like and that's what she was doing. Suck it up, bitch, do the shit, bitch. She was like that. So
that shit
that's how
is
they.
lame, bitch. How about we put you in that hole? Let's see if you make it. Like
I believe she probably would have made it just off her
shit.
mentality.
Yeah, I bet. But yeah. So then you get like some background dialogue. Amanda talking to John like he's succumbing more to the cancer and shit. She's basically saying that she can't do this shit without him. He's telling her like, no, we gonna make this shit happen, and like you gonna be straight because you have to be. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? She's out here having like feelings for this Gabriella girl because like she reminds her of her. Like a motherfucker out here like addicted to drugs. She's out here trying to say like, yeah, sometimes, you know, people just get attached to this shit, and he's sitting there trying to tell her like everybody got to be tested. You know, if they pass that bitch, then they're good. I think you would understand that the most out of everybody. And
Hey, but also, KJ, he told that bitch like shit. Gabriella made a decision too. Like when she
that's a
chose to
fact.
help them.
Hmm.
True.
But yeah, you know, like they're interrupted by some banging on the outside wall, and it's the dude with the fucking thyroid lymph node cancer and
No,
shit.
no. Before that, KTL. Before that,
Oh yeah, okay.
whenever
No, now this right here, this might have been the worst part of the movie for me. This was so fucking stupid. This
which
bitch,
part?
they're sitting there, they're
Intestine
like,
shit.
what?
The intestine shit.
Yes, this bitch, like they're talking about, okay, you know, they left this coat with this phone in there, it's ringing. All right, bet. How are we gonna get to it? This bitch goes over there, drags the dead body of a bitch that was supposed to be like her partner at least to some capacity, which I guess wasn't obviously,
It's a
but
worker.
that bitch just goes randomly finds a sharpened piece of metal that's just laying around in the fucking place, digs this bitch intestines out, with no fucking thought, and just looks and is like, "Oh, now we got some rope." I'm looking, I'm thinking like verbatim. I'm like, I think you overestimate the tensile strength of human intestines, bro. Them bitches, they throwing that hole around the room. You know what I'm saying? That bitch finally gets back and she's pulling a fucking cart with
They using
human
intestines as
intestines and
a
all. I'm
rope,
like, bro,
dog.
this is so fucking stupid. Like, it's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But that bitch gets the phone and she, makes a call, then gets shocked and shit. Amanda comes, takes that shit from him. That bitch starts copping a plea, talking about, yeah, I was calling my dad. If you let me call my dad, he'll come, come help you, John. John, I didn't say this earlier. John gonna tell that bitch some cold ass shit. That bitch was out there talking about this is wrong, John. He says a lecture in morals from you. Like that boy smoked that off. But
And the whole time, like a fucking Amanda and John and them out there, that bitch Gabriella, please, please, please let me go, please, let me go.
yeah, like
Like,
just
bitch, shut
shut the
your
fuck
ass up,
up.
bitch. Your little begging ass on.
I was about to say, bitch, you wasn't begging when you was out there, sucking dick to get some pills, like.
That
But
bitch, hey, she wasn't begging whenever she did that shit to get that money
hell
neither.
no,
Set this nigga up for some money.
it's shit. And then you spent it all on fucking pills and shit.
She definitely spent it on drugs from
But
Mateo. Wasn't it
yeah,
Mateo that gave it to her?
hell
Or
yeah.
Diego?
No, that was
One of,
Mateo.
Mateo a bitch ass nigga. We'll get to him.
But yeah, so they're interrupted. The thyroid man done pulled up with a Glock and shit. He says, I want my fucking money back. He's sneaking through there. Motherfucker got a gun, and Amanda, as the pig, just beats the shit out of him, knocks him out. He wake
That
up
was a
and
great
he's
boy too. Like he shot a pig, like
oh yeah,
well,
he and it was
or
it was
whatever.
that bitch head.
Yeah, that shit was fire.
But yeah, he wake up, he chained to a chair, and they basically telling him like, yeah, like we got the money up here, we done got all the money from these motherfuckers, but like, yeah, I'm about to give you a chance to be a part of something great, like beyond yourself. You traded your money, well, really your kids' money, because he was like, yeah, these my kids' money. He said you traded this shit trying to get a second chance at life and shit. He was like, that shit over with. We got fleeced, but here you might get a chance to be a part of something great. He directs him to the screen, motherfucker out there watching that bitch, just like all the shit that's happening. And they go like he says, hey, go prepare Gabriella for a trap. And he says, or do I got to do it? That bitch says, no, I'm gonna do it, but Diego is next. That bitch goes
Not
out there.
Diego, Mateo.
Mateo, yeah, Mateo is next. She like goes down and Mateo starts copping a plea, boy, just yelling, "Fuck you, bitch!" All this shit. Boy got tased in his fucking face. Like
This
she
Mateo,
popped a taser
bro.
in his fucking face. Boy, that shit is so funny, man. Like
That Mateo nigga was tripping.
that shit is
Hey,
ridiculous.
KT, and then Gabriella go talk to Amanda. He's gonna kill you just like he's gonna kill us. Like, bitch, get your stupid ass on, Gabriella.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
about
sick
to
of
say like that bitch out there just fucking just begging for anything, bro.
yeah, like that bitch reaching. Like, I'm sick of this hoe. Bitch, you
I
did what you
mean, I'm gonna
did.
be honest. Like, I wasn't like mad at her. Like I was mad at Cecilia. I just thought she was kind of just pathetic. Like,
I'm not
damn,
mad
bitch.
at. I'm not mad at. What's her name? Gabriella. I just think this bitch is annoying, and she just trying to say any fucking thing. Like, get your stupid ass on. You did what you
That
did.
bitch out there begging, bro. But
Yeah, that's all she was doing the whole time,
so
begging.
Mateo, he wake up in a fucking in like a chair and shit. Motherfucker got like some shit
That nigga
above him. He
up
got a
KT
mirror.
that bike.
Uh,
Billy rolled up on that bike.
no, he didn't. Not yet. I don't think.
Yeah, he did. Well, he pulled up. Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He
okay.
that bitch was creaking.
I thought like he pulled up for Gabriella because like he was staring at that hoe.
Nah, he was already there. He pulled up with Mateo.
But yeah, so it's a whole a tray of some shit there. He got his like part of his head shaved. He got a mirror above him and shit. He say, "I'm not doing this shit." Some shit on his neck shocks the fuck out him, and so he goes starts playing the tape and shit. And the tape basically, talks about him like being a fucking dickhead out there, pretending to be a doctor and some more shit
An
for the
anesthesiologist, right?
yeah, I'm about to say for the sake of all of this shit. So he says, "All right, bet. There's a little jar over here filled with some liquid, and what you gonna have to do, you gonna have to cut a part of your brain out and put that bitch in this jar. And if that hole dissolves enough, you gonna be able to get this key over there, and like let you out this bitch." He's sitting there saying, "Fuck off! I'm not doing this shit." Like the trap done started, boy. Like I don't know what to tell you. That
Hey,
motherfucker,
John.
like,
Hey, KT. John Kramer said something I thought was interesting. I didn't know. Like, I don't know if it's true. Probably is. But he said something about it was like a statement he was making about the brain and how like you can
oh yeah,
rewire
like where
itself.
like motherfuckers have lost half their brain and it rewired itself and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of clean if that's the truth for real. I ain't gonna lie to you. That
yeah.
boy
I never
said,
heard
"Oh,
that.
waffle iron." That bitch, yeah, that boy, like he out there. So he put the joint together, and Cecilia once again backseat saw trapping, telling him all this shit he got to do and some more shit. He telling that bitch to shut the fuck up because honestly, bro, just shut the fuck up. Like you see what I'm having to do to me. But he finally like cut his skull open. He can see his brain, his hands shaking, all type of shit. He grabbed like a chunk of his brain with some tweezers and pulled that hoe out. Like taking forever and shit. His handshake. That's the other thing. Like fucking guy got Parkinson's or some shit, man. Like, or he would have probably survived this trap.
He
He out
just
there
nervous.
just shaking, holding shit. Like, bro, quit
I
being
think
a bitch.
he was
That's what
nervous.
killed you. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, KT. If I gotta cut my brain too, I'd be like
I
nervous as fuck.
100% agree with you, Slim. But I would not be nervous. I would be in pain. I would be,
I'd be
like that
nervous as
motherfucker. That
fuck.
motherfucker was shook, bro. Like he didn't want to have to do nothing to himself. It wasn't
It's
about the fact of like that extreme pain that he went through. That'd be understandable. He just, I don't want to do this to me. Just fuck
hey, it's
you. Like,
but it's no way you can do that in real life, right? That's not a thing. You
let me
can't do
tell
that.
you something, bro. If
Yeah.
you are put in a predicament where a motherfucker says, "Hey, you got to do this shit, whatever this task may be, or you finna fucking die." Do you honestly think that the solution to your problem is gonna be saying "fuck you, I'm not doing it," and then the guy's gonna come out and be like, you're right. Here's the key to your freedom. Go ahead. I apologize for everything that we've done, and enjoy your life.
Nah, that's
Like,
Mateo.
bro,
But
boy, if
but
you
I'm
don't
what I'm saying,
fuck
KT,
off,
I'm saying you can't physically cut your brain. Can you? No, I don't think you can.
yes. Well, are you saying can I do it, or are you saying is it possible?
Like physically doing that and living, surviving.
Yeah, that's 100% possible.
What?
Yeah, like because it's the same principle as now. Like it could not be this what's the word I'm looking for? Not like unorganized, but just like rough around the edges. Like this rigged ass shit.
Right.
But like that is like you can 100% like cut a hole in your skull, assuming like you don't pass out from any of this pain. You can cut a hole in your skull, get a piece of your brain out, and as John Kramer said, the brain will find a way to survive in that bitch. You know what I'm saying for the most part.
Are you gonna lose some type of
Yeah.
function?
Now like it depends on like what you end up
What you
taking
cut?
because Yeah, I'm about to
Right.
say there's differing pieces of the brain that are for
Different
different
lobes
things.
and
There's like the part of the brain that controls creative stuff, and there's part of the brain that controls like memory and emotions and shit.
right, right.
So you'll lose differing things based off of what you. And that's what I was like wondering. I was wondering like what the fuck, that shit like that he took would have impaired him with.
Yeah, I never cut my brain. Fuck you, John Kramer. Kill me.
Uh, I guess, bro.
I'm not cutting my brain, bro. Like that don't even seem like no sane shit to
I'm
do.
just saying, Slim, between your brain and your eye, I might pick the brain. Like,
I'm not picking neither one. I'm out of here.
yeah, I know. But so he do that shit, and that shit does not work in the slightest. Like he is once again too slow because he wanted to tell a motherfucker to fuck off and shit. And as Luther said, a big fucking waffle iron just snaps closed on his face. It had a clean design on the front that bitch though. Like that was pretty clean. You know what I'm saying? But Buddy
Designs
just
in this
got
movie is fire.
bro, he just got baked. Like his face just got fucking baked. And so yeah,
That gotta
Mateo.
yo, that gotta be some of the most painful shit, bro.
Yes, it was. It was literally just heating coils placed upon your face in a close proximity. It is literally the epitome of putting your face on like an electric stove, the burner and shit. You know what I'm
Man,
saying? It would just be that shit, like, but in a 360 field of view. Um, but yeah, I mean, hey, there's been some horrible ways to go. That I agree with you though. Like within the Saw franchise, that might be like one of the top ones.
that
Um,
shit gotta hurt, bro. Like bad.
so you know, whole time, what's the guy's name up there that with the thyroid shit? What was his name? But he's watching the whole
Uh,
time, and like
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, you guys are fucking sick," such and such, all of this, and he's like trying to tell you, he's like, "Hey, bro, like I know you're not simping out on me now, bro. Like, you remember what they did to you, huh? You just wanted to put a bullet in them. Like, we was gonna kill him either way, bro. Like, you see this shit, huh?" And a motherfucker, like, he basically tells me, he's like, "All right, I'm finna let you out this chair. I need you to understand the use of guns is strictly prohibited in this challenge. If you fuck it up, bad shit is gonna happen to you." He said, "All right, bet." He let him out and all of that shit.
His name
You know,
Parker, ain't it? I think Parker.
but
Yeah.
that wasn't like his name. Like he was going by a different
Oh,
name
he
at
had a
that point.
different name. You're right.
But
I don't remember.
that motherfucker was out there. He so like they're just watching. Having another moral quandary and shit. Plot exposition as the case may be. And it's just Gabriella and Cecilia left. So they finally decide that it's time for Gabriella's trap. And Gabriella go, they like Billy's just looking at this bitch, and that bitch is just shook. She said, "No, no, I'm not doing it. Fuck this." And like she starts playing the thing, motherfucker says, "I want to play a game." That bitch throws away. She said, "The fuck no!" Like that boy
Because I'm
John
afraid
Kramer
it's
said,
not gonna work.
"I'm sorry, that's not an option." Start stringing that hoe up.
She got yoked the fuck up.
Hell yeah. And John's like, "All right, I guess I'm gonna have to do this the old fashioned way." He said, "Hey, I didn't went through a lot of treatments for my cancer. I didn't went through chemo, like different herbs, radiation." He said, "But one thing about these radiation machines, that's a bad motherfucker right there." And all of a sudden that bitch cut on and shit. She starts feeling the heat from that bitch. She feel how that shit feel. And he says, "All right, the only way you gonna get out this bitch is to break your hand and your foot, to be released from this bitch." That bitch don't want to do that shit, but Cecilia's sitting there telling her like to do that shit. Motherfucker starts cranking up the heat on that bitch. She finally says, "Damn it, all right, bet." She goes, grabs this hammer that's in midair and just starts whacking at that hoe. Cecilia says, "Make sure you start with your foot because you'll swing out the way and shit." And she's like, "All right, bet." So she just starts beating the dog shit out her foot. I'm talking just cracking that hoe 10, 15 times.
That design
Finally,
was fire too, KTL. This trap.
finally that hoe just slides out. That bitch swings out the way. She's like, "All right, bet I'm good." Motherfucker hit a button and the fucking thing just
That bitch
moved
moved.
over. That bitch
I
swinging the hammer at the thing. She's like, "Stop,
thought you
stop
was gonna
it!"
get away,
Like
bitch.
that shit funny as a bitch, man. I don't thought she had a finesse out there, boy. That shit is so funny. But yeah, low key, like if she broke her hand first, wouldn't she have just fell to the ground? Right? Like, would she have even had to like break her foot because like the one like the foot one was attached to the flow.
I thought the foot would have still been caught though.
It would have been stuck, but it ain't no way that like she would have been still getting radiated.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. That Cecilia bitch might have set that hoe up. But yeah, so and then she just gets to beating the shit out her hand. She, fucks that hoe up, finally falls to the ground. She's free. Gabriella did it, man. I was happy. I was like, yeah, finally somebody that just didn't fucking shit the bed. You know what I'm saying? And she passes her trap. All of a sudden, Buddy goes and he
He pulled
then
out a
snatched
gun.
the fucking gun out the little cabinet where John then had that bitch, and he's like, "All right, that's enough. We gonna get the key, and like
Playtime over, nigga.
go let that bitch out." He said, "That boy John says, why? She's not going anywhere." And that motherfucker points the gun at him. Now Amanda starts like feeling some shit, and she gonna go try to like, "Oh no, no, don't shoot him, please." Hell yeah,
That
she
nigga,
definitely had to Detective Matthews her own shit.
that nigga John say, "I told you guns was against the rules."
Hell yeah, that motherfucker was out here like just like he was like, "Hey, bro, I warned you about this shit. You finna go down a path you can't fix." But
he he wasn't trying to hit none of that shit. Parker wasn't trying to
hell
hit it.
no. So he goes down there, motherfucker, like lets Cecilia out the trap. They out there kissing and shit. Now it's clear they was in on the fix the whole time,
Right. Then
motherfucker.
she smacked the fuck out of Amanda too.
Hell yeah. That
Smacked
bitch
the
say,
fuck
"I've
out
been
of
wanting to
her.
do this since I met you." Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That was a pretty decent twist, though. Like that motherfucker was out there. He was a part of the shit the whole time.
Yeah, facts.
Like, so he's just a part of the
Hey, you
con.
know
That
what's
shit is.
crazy though? I think I kind of suspected whenever we first saw him in the hospital, and he was like he got cured. Well, whether he got whatever cancer, I might have suspected that he might be faking too, just for like the rules. But I wasn't thinking that he was gonna be doing all this. But I thought he might have been faking like, oh yeah, I got cancer, and they just worked on me. Just I thought that shit might have been fake.
What do you think his motivations would have been?
The same shit the rest of them was doing. I thought he might have just been like a actor like them.
Well, I'm confused. Then, like, what do you mean you didn't think it was to that extent?
Because I'm saying when I first saw it, like when we first saw him in there as a patient, I was like, nah, he might not be a patient. He might just be here and he's acting like he's trying to fool John into thinking like, yeah, they actually doing some shit. But I wasn't thinking like he was going to be um fucking turned into like a killer, because this is right here he turned into like he was gonna kill these motherfuckers.
I'm about
I
to
think
say, to be fair, he not really a killer in this movie.
he's
Like
not, but he
at
he
this
he would
point
have
in
been. He
time, I don't know how to pronounce his bitch name. I looked it up. Like it's some fucking Slavic ass shit. Some Swedish shit or whatever. But like the woman that played Cecilia Peterson turned in her performance of like it reminds me of the villain from, I want to say it's Fast and Furious 9. No, it's 8. Fast and Furious 8. Like they're just the entire movie just like a teasing condescending bitch. That bitch out there, she done got some shit figured out, and she's turned in that shit where like, oh, you're like, oh, you're getting pissed. You're like, you dirty fucking bitch. But me personally, like I'm a little bit different. Like I'm smiling watching this whole shit because like I'm like, okay, it's a little bit different because this is a Saw prequel. So I'm like, okay, nothing's gonna happen to John Crane. Like he's all right. So I couldn't like suspend my disbelief, I guess, at that point. But like
Mhm.
I'm just sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, this bitch is just making shit worse for herself, man. I'm like, okay, keep digging this hole, bitch. You know.
I think for me it was more about because, like you said, obviously it's a prequel, and we've seen the rest of the movies. That's kind of why I don't like when they make movies out of order. But I guess for me it was more about, okay, what's gonna happen, like what's about to happen. Like I know they're probably gonna get, but I guess I was kind of watching the journey
Oh,
to the
that's it. That's exactly how I felt though. Like I'm like, okay, where is this gonna lead though? Like, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? What the fuck is gonna happen? But yeah. So like they that bitch steps on Gabriella neck, break her shit, you know what I'm saying? Even though John was like, we need to take her to the medical facility. She won her game and all this. Amanda, falls to the floor, tears falling down her eyes and shit, when she kills that bitch. Uh
That bitch
like they
say,
she
she said them wasn't her friends. She's like, they was loose ends, and that's one less
mm-hmm.
person we had to split the money with. Like,
Yep. And
don't give
Amanda
a fuck.
and John are out there trying to tell, like, Parker that, like, hey, this bitch is out here, like, she gonna burn you like she burnt everybody else. That
Facts.
motherfucker was, like, telling them to shut the fuck up. They don't know what they talking about. Because, Buddy said he would die for that bitch and some more shit. Um,
Facts.
that Swedish pussy must have been hitting. I ain't gonna
Parker
lie
might
to
be a
you.
sucker.
Man,
That
I
boy
don't
a
know,
sucker.
man. Maybe that bitch knew how to put it on a motherfucker. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he a
But
sucker.
that shit, where that like they at this point, like I say, she just starts fucking with John Kramer. She's out there like talking shit to him. She flips his own shit on him, talking about, oh, a moral thing
Less
from
moral
you,
decent from
you
you.
know,
Yeah, that
that
shit was cold when
motherfucker.
she did that. Though. That was cold.
Like that bitch out there talking about like, how do you're Jigsaw, all this shit. She was like, how do you let me outsmart you and all this shit? He says it's a momentary lapse in judgment. That bitch said, yeah, and it's finna cost you and shit. She goes, has him chained up to like what was supposed to be Cecilia trap and shit. And then they was finna I guess put Amanda in that hole. They start hearing the sound of some smacks, and it's Carlos out there kicking a soccer ball and shit. So they go up there and they bring him down there and put Dude in the trap. John
Hey,
is like not happy. He says this was an unfortunate, unforeseen circumstance, an oversight.
I got a question, Joe.
Oh boy.
So Carlos pulled up here.
Hell
We
yeah,
saw
kicking a
Parker
soccer
pull up.
ball.
Yeah, Parker pulled up a little while ago. Where
Yep.
are they? Where
Mexico.
the fuck is no? Where is this facility where Carlos is just walking up and
Well,
like
Carlos Pops was the groundskeeper, remember? So they actually live around there. Like that was probably the
so
one thing that wasn't a lie about the whole spot.
this place where they are is in the middle of I guess where they brought him. I guess somewhere around there.
Yep.
I didn't know what the location of this place was. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, like that shit, like where he's kicking the soccer ball, that shit is right outside of like the actual villa or the building or whatever. Because like you go through the villa to get to all the medical facilities and shit, like the big front door and shit where like Gabrielle greeted him, like all that shit is connected.
So this shit like just like down the street or some shit
I
for real.
mean, it's literally. I think he's like right in front, out in front the gate or some shit. A groundskeeper, they allowed to live on the grounds and shit. And they fucking like maintain the shrubs and shit.
Okay.
But yeah. So they go put Carlos in the trap, and get that bitch started. And then she says like you might want to tell him the rules of the game. She was like, well, she's like, you don't want to tell him? Damn, that's fucked up. All right, bet. Motherfucker starts that bitch, pulls the lever. John and Carlos get pulled to the flow. They laid on their back, and like the joint flattens out and lifts up, and all of a sudden, some blood just starts dropping out these fucking tubes on each
Hey,
side.
KTF, before
Yeah.
that, you remember he grabbed that bitch by her neck. He
Who?
grabbed that bitch. John grabbed that bitch by her neck.
Oh yeah, he wasn't going for none of that shit, boy. That
Yeah, I
motherfucker
ain't
put a
never really
gun
seen
to Amanda and shit, but John was finna get on that bitch ass. He says, "I've had enough of this shit you doing, bitch."
Hey, this
Like,
is the first time I ever seen John really get active like that. Like he really don't be
what you
doing
mean, bro? The whole movie, he was pig masking it. Like,
well. I mean, yeah, but shit, this is him with no mask, like getting active. Like
oh
I ain't never
yeah, that
like he
motherfucker, like he
just
was sick of
choked the
that
hell out
bitch's
there.
shit. That bitch got like I understand, man, John. I'm with you, bro. A bitch got but so many times to think this shit a game. Then I'm gonna show you how it's played. I create the games, bitch. But that motherfucker, yeah, like so they on that joint and blood is just waterboarding the fuck out of both of them. And so John had already told Carlos before that bitch. He said, "No holla, no holla." He said, "Don't pull the lever." That motherfucker John pulls the lever, and it starts tipping the table to where like that shit is just smoking him. And Carlos is good. Carlos looked down. He sees his friend and shit. Because that's like what the Amanda asked, "Who is that?" He said, "It's a friend." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so he pulls a little lever and shit, and it tips back over. Now it's Carlos getting hit with all the blood and shit. And then John said, "I told you not to do this dumbass shit." And he pulled a lever again and shit. It tipped back over. Amanda's over there crying, freaking the fuck out. "Stop it, please! You're killing him." All this shit. And
Yeah. All you gotta do is push the lever and sacrifice the kid.
that's a fact. And Carlos go to try to pull the lever again, but John's just holding that bitch. He said, "Nah, this is mine. Like this is over with. It ends with me." And so I guess Parker is a bit sickened by this or whatever. He says, "Hey, come on, let's go get this money." So they go up top. They go to get the money out the cabinet and shit. They looking around. They finally find that bitch. He pulls the bag. Bang! Ripcord gets pulled. Da 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 da. The music starts playing. The door is shut on the room that they're up there in. The blood shuts off, and Amanda's able to unlock her leg restraint and go,
hey,
unlock John and
hey,
Carlos
hey,
out
hey,
that hole.
TL. But before that, like when they went into that room, they had like a little bit of dialogue that was interesting because there was like the whole fucking yeah, like
Oh
once I
yeah,
heard
they were like, well, if it wasn't, who was the other person supposed to be?
yeah,
You
that
know,
I think that I never even thought about that. And they was
shit.
like,
I
yeah, I can't believe they fell for the yeah, whatever the fuck. Like obviously, like I knew
like I say, bro,
we
I'm
figured something
watching that
happened.
shit. So like that shit didn't really like because I'm like, okay, like he had already said earlier in the movie, he told her, he was like, "I promise you, no matter what happens, this shit is all gonna work out according to plan." And like me knowing, I'm like, okay, like this motherfucker don't just be doing shit. And she even says it later, she's like, you don't make mistakes.
Yeah,
That motherfucker, I'm like, okay, like this is all a plan. Like, bitch, you're getting set up. Like I say, maybe I should have allowed myself to be more drawn in for that shit. But like a motherfucker, like I was just like, yeah, like you got finessed, bitch. But Amanda goes, lets John and Carlos out that hole. The room that Parker and Cecilia in is filling with some type of fucked up gas, that's like gonna fuck them up and shit. And it's basically like said, yeah, like y'all done like work together, finessing the fuck out people forever. Now y'all are gonna have to work against one another because only one of you can live. So they get to fighting in that hole because there's one air hole where they can like stick their head out and breathe through that bitch. Motherfuckers like start fighting. And this you right, Slim Buddy might be whack as a bitch. He just let that bitch kill him. Like
nah, he ain't let her. He was
yeah,
trying to fight the fuck out that hoe.
I'm saying, like, bro, you not strong enough to overpower that bitch. You weak as fuck,
I think it's
pussy.
very I don't know if you would call it poetic justice. I like how they brought everything full circle. Like that's some of the shit that we loved about Saw, especially early
Yeah,
on.
he's like, yeah,
Writing,
they're like, she'll kill you too. Shut the fuck up, Amanda. She's gonna burn you. You just don't see it yet. Like,
hey, and there was a part at the beginning that we kind of skipped over too. Like whenever he was like when he first caught Diego, and there was a part where he was like, Diego's like, I told you everything already. Like I already told you everything you wanted to know. Like I didn't understand that. Obviously, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. But
I didn't even really hear that shit.
yeah, he said that at the beginning, and I think that's what I got from that is that the
Oh
nigga
well, okay, yeah, I did because like I'm when I heard that shit, I was like under the impression of like, oh, he told him like where the facility was because you were like saying that shit about like drawing that picture like he was trying to figure out where that spot was. I was under the
right.
impression that Diego told him where it was at, and that's where he went and found them motherfuckers.
Well,
But
Diego definitely told him like about who was working here, who did what, all this shit, what was going.
uh
Diego
huh.
told him all that shit, so that's how he knew ahead of time that
See, now
Parker.
I was under the impression that like he learned about that because, like I say, he calls and he's like, detective, I need your help finding some people. And
I
I
think
was
that's
like
how
under
he
the
located them.
but that motherfucker, like, so here's where the flashback goes, you know what I'm saying? Like, she kills the fuck out this dude. And like you ever wonder how we found you, all of this shit. And it's going back, it's him and Amanda. But then you see like John Kramer on the phone talking to Detective Hoffman, where he's like, his name is Parker. Was it Parker? Whatever the fuck. He was like, so I found Cecilia, but Parker, you gonna have to get a little more creative. You know what I'm saying? So it's all been a big ass finesse trap. They let that bitch get the phone and start the call so that motherfucker would show up. You know what I'm saying? They like, there was no bullets in the gun because like she tries to, or one of them tries to shoot the gun. There was never any bullets in the gun. They were never really in any danger in terms of the actual trap. Like whenever he was knocked out, John took all the gunpowder out that bitch, like out the bullets, and put them hoes back. He fucking like wired that bag. There was never any money in the bag. It was just a bunch of fucking transfer slips and shit. So it was all a ruse, and like wired that bitch to the room.
Yeah,
I'm
and
telling you, bro, he played 3D chess on these goofies. Like,
he normally, well, especially at the beginning of the franchise, he normally did shit like this a lot. But I think
he tried to
something else
shoot the
that was
dough.
kind of fire, kind of what you mentioned about the burn. She gonna burn you and all that shit. Like, you remember you was talking about earlier how the nigga was talking about, yeah, bitch, I'd die for you and all this.
Hell yeah, and
But
that shit didn't
came down
last.
to it, he was
Like,
trying to kill her.
exactly.
Like, that's crazy.
Like,
What happened to
that
you
shit
dying for this girl?
that shit not real, bro. That shit is just some shit people say. Like, motherfuckers just tell bitches whatever the fuck they want to hear. Like, he thought that was finna get him some Swiss pussy.
That nigga say I'd die for you. And then he trying to kill this bitch to live. Like, that's
As he
crazy.
should, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. He should.
And he
Like,
got his ass killed by that hoe.
yeah, and he's ass. He's pussy.
Yeah, that was he didn't even really fight that hoe like good. Like, he was getting his
Bro,
ass
he
whooped.
sucks, bro. Like, I mean, like, that shit was eating away at his face, and I don't understand why it wasn't doing that shit to her, but whatever, man.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and I forgot. I don't think we mentioned that's the scene where you said she had grabbed the cart and she picked up the phone, talking about she was talking to her dad. Like, she had called Parker, and
uh-huh.
that's how they got
Yep.
him there because Amanda
Yeah,
took
that's
that
what I was
phone.
saying.
Yeah, that was fire. She took that phone and sent, I guess, a message or some shit.
Well, she
That was
called.
fire.
She was like calling a motherfucker. She said, "Hey, Park," and then got shocked.
But then Amanda took
Like,
that hoe, and I think she might have sent him a
yeah,
message to tell him where they was at,
shit.
and that's
Maybe
how
I
he.
just always assumed that like he like triangulated it because like he's in some capacity.
Come on, KTL. Now you giving them
No,
too much.
I definitely like was under the assumption because like I was under the assumption that like that's why Hoffman was like, you gotta do this shit yourself, because I figured like he was like some form, not special service, but like not a regular person. Like I assumed he was like kind of like a
He regular
ghost,
as
an
fuck.
agent or some shit. Like,
Hell, nah, he regular as fuck. Now I think what happened was that, like, she called them on the phone and Amanda shocked her, and that's when she picked up that phone and took it. And I think what happened was, I think they showed that Amanda like sent a message or some shit to this nigga, and I believe the message was probably telling him where the fuck they were, and that's why he
mhm.
pulled up.
But John
I
Kramer, he got the
don't
money over here in like a different bag. That bitch is still locked in that room, but she can breathe now. You know what I'm saying? But ain't no telling how she gonna get out that room. She probably just gonna die in that bitch. Motherfuckers just all failed day tests. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker, like, he told him no guns, and now Buddy did that shit. Now he's dead. That bitch, she didn't even want to go through her test. She thought she could cheat the system once again. Now she locked in a room and shit. Carlos gets a gang of free money for being a good little dude, and they all walk out the front door just happy as a clam, happy ending to the movie and shit. And I think that's pretty good, man. There is a mid credit scene that I thought was pretty cold too.
You kind of mentioned that bitch already. Like, I didn't know you was
No,
gonna
I
say
didn't.
it. You When you said the detective, you said his name.
Well, yeah, but like that was like revealed in the movie. That wasn't just what I'm
I
saying.
didn't
Like,
know that till the end. I didn't know that till the thing
oh
though.
no, I did. That was definitely like, but yeah. So they go through the mid credit scene, and it shows a motherfucker like waking up freaking out in the fucking Saw the OG Saw bathroom,
Yeah, I was wondering where Buddy was at.
you know, and so like it's the guy that had the fucking pancreas cancer or whatever. You
Fucking
know, he showed John this gnarly ass scar. He says, "This is my war wound." John Kramer walking up, he looks him up and down. He says, "Hey man, where's your scar at?" And he's like attached to this device and shit, this trap. And Detective Hoffman pops around the corner and he says, "Man, out of all the people to try to screw over, you choose John Kramer." He's
that
like,
shit
"That's
was.
what
I
I
ain't gonna lie,
call
bro.
an
I,
epic
I
fail."
thought that shit was fire when I seen
Yeah, like
Hoffman.
I think Hoffman, like through this series, like I've always thought Hoffman was such a bitch ass character, bro. But like seeing this shit here, like I was hype. I was like, bro, this is so fucking
Yeah, that was
clean.
fire. That was fire.
Like, so like
And I
he's
wish I'll say this. I saw the trailers. I wish they didn't put Amanda in the trailer. I would have been more surprised. It probably would have been even better for me.
That's fair. But like I think that like, they tied all that bitch together well, you know what I'm saying? Like showing him with all of the peoples and shit that he, like worked with, and showing just how long that he really was working with these folks, like we just go from movie to movie and shit, and like it's a linear timeline. This giving
Cap,
some plot exposition was pretty good.
that's cap, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? We already knew
Okay.
that. We knew that
Oh,
shit already. You
no, that's
movies.
not that. Like I literally read about it like afterwards, and they were like saying like the point here is that to show how long he's really been working with Detective Hoffman, because this is in between the first and the second movie. You know what
My
I'm
brother,
saying?
we found
Like
that out 3 movies ago.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like because we saw it. Like they showed us like Hoffman and Amanda like helping him set up the first, like the second game or whatever. Saw it too. Like we been saw that.
That wasn't the second game. That was the third game.
Fuck nah. That was Well, yeah, you're right, but still.
But yeah, like I'm just saying, like I think that was all like that. That's a clean way to do that. Yeah, that motherfucker says like, you want to fuck over John Kramer. That motherfucker said some corny shit. He's like, that's what I would classify as an epic fail. And then just some shit like that shit that's attached to Buddy starts, like clawing and shit. He's like, don't worry, my fellow cancer survivor. You still got a chance to live, but I want to play a game. And it goes to the fucking back to the credits. I was like,
Mhm.
that shit clean.
Yeah,
That
man.
shit clean than a motherfucker, man.
Good, good, good.
Shout out to that movie. But
Well, let's talk about the fucking ratings, man.
all right. Do I gotta go first? Do you
Yeah,
even have trivia for this?
yeah. You know what's crazy? I got it today because I didn't have it.
I'm about
Then
to say, like, this movie just came out, man. What the fuck?
I watched that whole Thursday. There was no trivia, but I got it
I'm
today.
not gonna lie to you, man. This might be, it's at least top two of my favorite Saw movies. Like I think this movie was really good. Like I say, I like that we watched all these bitches back and motherfuckers were complaining. I wish these goofy ass motherfuckers were here, to talk about this shit. But motherfuckers bitched for the last 2, 3, 4 movies that this shit is all the same, and all this like all this was not the same as the rest of the Saw movies. Not in terms of pacing, not in terms of the focal point of the characters. Like this was entirely different. There was no bullshit. Oh, a cop is being fucked with story. There is no, there's like little John Kramer cameos post death and all this shit. This was a story about John Kramer and how the fuck he got into the shit that he be doing, or not got into it, but like how a motherfucker tried to finesse him and they paid the consequences for it. There were good traps in this hoe. They weren't the best, but I think they were pretty fucking good. I think that the ways that the people died as a result of the traps were like some of the best though. Um, it like the bitch who was like the real bad guy, because like as you're watching the movie, people like they tend, like at least I kind of like thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, technically John Kramer is supposed to be like a bad guy. He's putting people in these saw traps and all this shit. But like, you really get the feeling that this other bitch is like a bad guy. Is a bad person. So like, she did a great job of being unlikable, to the point where you wanted to see something bad happen to her, and then you just watched her, get checkmated in real time. I think that's quality as fuck. I think that it was a great feeling, like in terms of like nostalgia. That shit they tried to do with Dr. Gordon, I feel like this is what they were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Like this feeling of like, damn, these characters are back and this shit looks cold as fuck. It's like that is it. It is a Saw movie finally shot in a good like quality overall. You know how it looked and shit.
It's
Um,
2023.
that's what I'm saying. Like the fucking like Spiral was shot like pretty recently, so it looked pretty good.
2021.
Jigsaw was pretty decent in terms of
21.
that, but like
I
before that, that was just like a sorry ass fucking shot Saw movie, and
To
I've
be
been
fair,
waiting on some
KTL,
shit to look good. Like,
to be fair, shit, before Jigsaw, nigga,
yep,
last one was 2010. So,
yep. But all the like the 4 or 5 movies before that all looked better than that movie. That movie was bullshit. But
also, wasn't Saw like a low budget franchise?
yeah, and that's why I was very surprised that like it looked great all the way until that bullshit ass movie. Fuck
I
that
think the
movie.
first one looked really
Fuck
good,
Saw
like an old ass
3D.
movie.
Just sorry as fuck. But yeah, like this was not sorry as fuck, man. Like I enjoyed this a lot, bro. I don't really have much that I didn't like about it. Like I say, I think that like a couple of like the outcomes were kind of bullshit. They did some stupid bullshit in the movie where I was like, okay, like go fuck yourself, but like there were moments of like genuine, like it felt like a genuine triumph in the movie of like some clean ass shit, that like I had me like feeling good in the theater, and I think that that's something that like watching these hoes has been a feeling that's missing for a while. So I give it a lot of credit for figuring out how to breathe life into a series that a lot of people felt had become stale, probably. In my opinion, they like found a way to revitalize it and making me look forward to anything like potentially that they could do still. This would be perfectly fine if this is the last movie, but I highly doubt that it will be. So I'll be watching for whatever the fuck they do next. I'm going to give the movie I'm probably going to give this movie a 9 because like I think that like that's probably a higher score than I've given the rest of the movies. And like I think that it deserves it. I can't think of much that I didn't like about the movie, honestly. If you are like upset that the movie takes a little bit to get to where it's going because it's telling the John Kramer story, that's fine, but I view it more so as like good storytelling, which is something that like the Saw franchise hasn't focused more it focuses more on like Saw themed, storytelling where it's like based off traps and bad shit. Like this just felt like a regular movie. Like this is watching a villain be born, etc. So yeah, I'm gonna get his hoe a 9. I think, man. Shout out to Tobin Bell.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you said, man. The writing in this movie was really good, man, and we've been missing that for a while because I feel like Saw writing kind of
There wasn't
declined.
really any plot holes, was there, Slim?
No, not many. I don't think. I don't know any off the top of my head anyway. But yeah, I think because like I think the writing was something that I was a big fan of for like the first two or three, and then to me it just kept kind of getting worse and worse. It was like plot holes here and there, and I don't know. But this one was really good. I like how they brought everything full circle. Like the twist was good to me. It wasn't really much bad, kind of like what KTL said. Um, yeah, I mean, so I knew Amanda was going to be in the movie. I think it would have been even better if I didn't know she was going to be here because they put her in the trailer. Like, I think it was fire they showed Hoffman at the end because I did not expect to see him, but I think that was a great fucking addition. And to know that he's the detective that John was like talking to at the like John was like, "Hey, detective, I need you to find some people for me." To find out that that was Hoffman, like that's crazy. That's fire. Um, yeah. So that's really all I got, man. KTL kind of covered most of it. As far as the trivia, it ain't really that much, but This film got the oh yeah. So for me, I think this is the second best Saw movie to me. I still got the first one being the best. Like the first one was crazy to me. But this one is second for me. So this one got the best reviews and the best ratings in the whole series. Um,
That's crazy. 10 movies in.
yeah, like ironically, the first one don't even have like high ratings for real, but the first one was fire to me. The cancer treatment, the experimental cancer treatment, is presumably the same treatment that he was trying to get in the one in Saw 4. Was it 4?
Five.
With the insurance guy, one of them.
Saw five.
Okay, yeah, where he was trying to get the insurance people to like do that shit for him. They was like, nah, we not covering that shit. Allegedly, that's like the same treatment that he was trying to get the insurance to cover. Um, they did it in Norway or something in that movie, and that's
I
where
think it was Saw six. Low key, my fault.
it might have been 6, yeah. And so Cecilia, her pops, they mentioned him like 2 times in this movie, and he was working out of Norway. So I think they kind of that's what they did with that. And I kind of had that thought, like, it wasn't really a thought that just stayed in my mind throughout the movie, but I had that thought that that might have been like maybe that's the treatment that he was trying to get, back then. So um this is the first movie in the series that didn't have a police subplot, unless you count the ending with Hoffman. But every other movie has like a plot with the police officer or a detective or this or that, like throughout the whole movie. This is the first one that didn't, and this also the first one that has a trap, which is the trap that he had with the eye, the vacuum with the eyes and shit. That's the first trap that was designed to only maim the person and not actually kill them outright if they failed it. So pretty interesting, man. Overall, I give this movie a not a 9 like you, but I give it an 8.5. So that brings it to like 8.75. But
What trap were you just talking about?
the eye socket shit with the vacuum,
Oh, okay.
every other trap, like if you fail that bitch, you die like immediately. But
I gotta say, I feel like that would kill a motherfucking me, but you know,
even if it did, you're talking about kill them over time. Like it'll take
you're
a
talking about like an
minute.
instant death.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. Saw X, man. We completed the fucking mission. We completed the crash course, man. 10 movies. That's kind of crazy. We did 10 movies, bro.
Hey man, no funny shit, man. We done had like this shit done brought a lot of good moments, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers like might not have been happy with this bitch the whole time, but we stuck with it. I want to thank everybody that has been watching, along the whole time, man. Everybody that stuck with us. Like the Crash Course series has done some pretty decent, at least by our standard, pretty decent views the whole time, man. So thank you to everybody that tuned in, like showed up to this point. I mean, this is a format we're definitely going to continue using, just probably not with some shit that has as many fucking movies as this
Correct.
franchise for a while.
You know what's crazy? I think Black Roots might have put Crash Course for Invincible. I don't know, but I think he might have.
That shit's hilarious.
Yeah, so
I mean, I guess technically it
technically,
counts, but
technically it
fuck.
is one. Like, because
Uh,
the new season coming out.
But for anybody that, decided to watch this bitch all the way through, if you have not, if you just decided like, you wanted to see some shit about the new movie that came out, feel free to go back and watch, some of the previous episodes. There's some good shit there.
Like,
But
comment,
yeah,
subscribe.
huh?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, man. We run the numbers up. We coming up on a year of doing this shit. We done watched a lot of pretty unique movies, man, and made a lot of interesting side content regardless.
Right.
So shout out to the fans and the supporters, and shout out to us for finally getting done with this shit, man. We're free.
Yeah, shout out Luther Johnson, man. Shout out Travis Mitchell, man. All the people that pulled the, you know,
Hmm.
everybody.
Shout out Dave, man. Dave been
Shout out
watching
Dave.
them shit, you know.
That's a fact. Salute to all y'all, man. Hope y'all keep rocking with us. We're gonna keep this shit coming, bro. Pause.
Real Rap Coalition podcast, man. Signing the fuck out.
Oh yeah, we'll be right back with Gen V.
Jesus.